We have a rescue coming in, it's a big one. Mush, just decomposed bodies.
Oh. I am really, really excited. I know it's a bit mental. I'm in the back of a sort of golf cart, driving through the jungle in Laos. But I'm revisiting the LCTW. When I say revisiting, 8 years ago I came to meet the team at the Laos Conservation Trust for Wildlife, and then it was a kind of zoo trying to become a wildlife sanctuary. They actually got kicked off the premises, bit of a drama. The people running it left all of a sudden, and a chap called Jeremy took it on to run it, save the day, and make it is what it is now. And Jeremy and I have been in contact a little bit over the last couple of years, trying to see how we can help him. And this is the first chance I've had to come back and actually meet Jeremy in the flesh, meet the team, see what they're up to. And you know what, I'm really pumped, and look at this, proper hardcore Lao. Oh, great to see you, buddy. Let's rewind to 1994. The Laos Zoo first opened its gates as a tourist attraction in Vientiane, set up as a mix of private enterprise and government funding until the government pulled out in 2003. And after that, things went downhill fast. Visitor numbers crashed, money dried up, and the illegal wildlife trade exploded. Traders were using social media, and Laos became established as a global hotspot for the buying and selling of endangered species online. In short, no one cared about a failing zoo. By 2012, the family running the zoo had come to a decision. They wanted to team up with international conservation groups and were determined to turn the struggling zoo into a wildlife sanctuary, helping combat the illegal trade. And in 2018, it happened. The Laos Conservation Trust for Wildlife was born, a brand new non-profit with a huge mission: rescue, rehabilitate, release. I visited just as it was established to see what was going on, find out if WS could help. It was rough. Understaffed, underfunded, and the animals weren't living their best lives. Hundreds of crocs crammed together, absolute chaos. No way to clean them, no way to control breeding. The crocs were feeding on each other. It was a dark time. But there was a turning point. In 2019, LCTW teamed up with the Wildlife Conservation Society and the European Union, and they put out a plea for help. Enter Jeremy. An American from Michigan, Jeremy, along with his partner and 2 dogs, packed their bags, sold their stuff, and moved halfway across the world to help fix a broken zoo. Jeremy was originally hired as deputy director, but when the old director suddenly quit with the burden of it all, he had to step up. He hadn't been there long and was now the only hope for the LCTW and the animals in the sanctuary. Jeremy decided to close the centre to the public, to reset and to focus on rebuilding from the ground up. The plan to open stronger than ever 18 months later. But in early 2023, with zero warning, the team got devastating news. Their lease had been terminated and they would no longer be able to stay on the land. They had to move. Every single animal had to go. We're talking 500 creatures, bears, crocodiles, monkeys, birds, all needing a new home, and fast. Jeremy and his team scrambled to find land, and against all the odds, they managed it. A new site tucked next to the Falco-Karai National Park. The enclosures had been rebuilt, the animals settled, and like a phoenix, the Laos Conservation Trust for Wildlife had officially risen from the ashes. Now, deep in the wilds of Laos, Jeremy and his team are making a vision a reality. They are rescuing animals, building new habitats, and finally gearing up to open to the public.
So this is going to be our public area for people when they come. So they get to view into our hospital, so they get to see a little bit of what's going on. So this is where we do blood work, fecal samples. We also hope to do biostorage in that back room. Very important that people get to see kind of what's going on behind the scenes, and they'll get to see the vets doing things, looking at a microscope, which is not that exciting, but still very cool, because they don't know what goes into rescuing an animal, right? Most people think you rescue an animal, you put it in the forest, finished. And it's quite more intense than just that. We're the first place, the only place that you can come and see skeletons like this, that the public can come and see them. So that's really unique.
This is the main hub.
This is the main hub. This is where we do health checks for recently rescued animals or animals that are just coming in. Right in there you can see one little macaque.
Oh yeah, look at
So
that.
another recent rescue as well. So this tiny little monkey, same type of story, being sold online and rescued from calling our wildlife crime hotline. So if we walk down here, you can see this is a brush-tailed porcupine.
Oh, wow.
Who is living in our shower currently. So she was a recent rescue. She actually came in with 24 common palm civets and 1 pangolin.
Why would people want a porcupine?
Food. I think she was probably being sold for food. Yeah. And these civets and this porcupine and the pangolin were all destined for Vietnam because they were caught at the border. Those are most likely going to a civet farm for civet poop coffee. It's very big in Malaysia, in Vietnam, now in Laos. It's also starting to become bigger. So tourists who may not know how these animals are kept in captivity then drink this coffee because it's something cool, it's new, it's exciting, they see it on social media. But of course, they don't think about what happened for that coffee to get there. So this is the type of stuff also with our center that we hope to educate people about as well. But, oh, sorry guys. This is for leopard kittens.
Oh, wow.
Currently. So Facebook in Laos is just rampant with wildlife selling. So it is very blatant. There is no hiding anything. The Facebook groups are called Buying and Selling Wildlife, but of course it's in Lao language. Essentially what happens is people will see these, they contact us, and then we can give that good information to the government, and then they can hopefully make the confiscation of these animals, and we can try to give them the best outcome possible. The nice thing about leopard cats, they're quite easy to rehabilitate, which is really nice because then they can make it back into the forest quickly. But currently, it's good that they're feisty. Of course, we want them not to like people. It's better they hiss, better they scratch, better they want to keep away from you.
Well, they take your finger off, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they are feisty.
How much were they being sold for?
I don't think it was, not as much as you would think, but maybe like $50.
And why? Why would people buy a leopard cat? Because it wouldn't make a good pet.
And they think it would.
With the wildlife trade, the scale of it in Laos,
Yeah.
how bad is it?
Bad. If I'm just blunt, there's a lot of wildlife being sold at the markets. You can find anything from civets to pangolins to monkeys, anything you name it. A big part of the issue as well is that a lot of these animals are being sold for traditional medicine. It's quite a big issue, and it's quite a frustrating issue, of course, because it's not always, you don't always get the reaction you would like, or the action, I should say, action from the government that you want to get. We run the Wildlife Crime Hotline. We get tip-offs every day, people sending tip-offs to us. And so our staff member tries to get more information about these animals so that they can give them to the government, and the government can take action and confiscate them. But unfortunately, it doesn't always go that way. If they do take action, we have to pay for that. So if they're going out, we have to pay for their petrol, we have to pay for their accommodation. If they need to stay the night, we have to pay for their food. So that's an extra cost for us as an NGO who's trying to have money to take care of these animals that we're rescuing to keep the center running.
And my understanding is kind of, it's not huge. If they get caught, it's not actually a massive deal. There's no teeth, is there, with the rules? An education punishment.
Yep. That's exactly it.
What does that mean?
You shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
That's truly that's what that means. They say don't do it again.
Because Laos is essentially, I think, the global hotspot for wildlife trafficking, isn't it? It's up there.
It's up there, yes.
It's incredible. And there's no punishment. You can trade away critically endangered species and no one cares,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
You care, and the people
Of course,
here care.
yeah, of
but
course.
That's the issue.
So this is an empty.
Yeah, it's nice.
Just wait 1 second. There we go. Right on cue. He's
Hey,
such
buddy.
a goofball.
How you doing? Nice to meet
he's
you.
like, okay,
Very
there.
nice to meet you. Yes. Oh, he's sweet. So what's his backstory?
So Gooey was actually very funny. One of our staff members knew someone. They rocked up in a kindergarten van, like a school van that just was like kindergarten, like for children.
Yeah.
And they just had this small little cage in it, and they're like, take this gibbon. And we're like, what? Why is this gibbon in a school van? Like, what's going on?
I guess the thing is, he's pretty awesome now. But
Yeah.
the thing is, when they're babies, they are so sweet.
So cute.
And no one, you know, and then suddenly they get bigger. They go through puberty, bit of a handful. Of course, they're not ideal pets, and everyone needs
No.
to ship them off, and they either want to buy another baby or they just, you know, realise it's been a horrible mistake.
Yeah. Oi.
Oh, he's gorgeous. Look at you.
He's like, I'm not aggressive, don't even. I know.
Look at you. What was your first rescue?
So my very first rescue was on my very first day of work. It was August 8th, 2018. The old directors had said to me, hey, we have a rescue coming in. It's a big one. And I'm like, okay. They're like, they're going to be here at 7 a.m. So I just traveled right from the U.S. here, exhausted. But I'm like, this is why I'm here. I need to be present for this. And the government arrived. They have pangolins. They have a trash can, literally a trash can filled with turtles and tortoises.
Oh.
They have bags of snakes. So we didn't know what were in the bags. And some of them were king cobras. So that was really exciting. And essentially, a lot of the animals died, whether it was in transit to us from Savannacat or whether it was prior to that. But the bags of snakes, some of the bags were mush, just decomposed bodies. I mean, the stench was unworldly, and it was just horrible. So a part of what we do is education for government. We do training sessions with the government about wildlife handling. And this is a great example of why this is so important. So the trash can full of turtles and tortoises was in the back of their truck. It rained while they came up here. Well, they were under the impression that the turtles or tortoises could breathe underwater. So half of the animals drowned while they were being transferred from south up to our place. And no fault to them, like I do not fault them at all. This is knowledge that they need to learn, right? And they just have never learned it. Rescue was crazy for my first day. It was a lot of animals and critically endangered and dangerous.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was a very interesting first day
Yeah.
for me in Laos.
Very real.
Very real.
Did you expect it was going to be anything as hardcore as that?
No, truthfully, no. I did not expect to roll up and have like 5 king cobras that we had to release on my first day of work.
Okay.
I'm quite close with my family. We FaceTime all the time. Always, keeping in contact, updating on what's going on and everything.
Did you want to do it as a kid? Did you always want to do this kind of thing when you were little?
Always. Since I was little, I was always catching anything and everything, just like a lot of animal people are doing, right? I mean, I would watch the programs, Steve Irwin, David Attenborough, all of that. I mean, that's what I watched. Absolute childhood dream. Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So this is Booba. Hi, Booba. What you doing, girl? When we actually first moved to the new site, she spent all her days out in the forest, and she almost would never come here because she was just enjoying it so much out there. It was really hard at first to get her in a group with other bears, and now she's you can see she's quite calm now.
What's going on? All these animals, they keep coming up.
They just keep coming up. When I became director, I was like, this is the top. This was what I've always wanted. And I had it, I think I was like 30 years old. And I was like, okay, so this is it.
So what next?
Build up the new site. Build up LCTW, impact as much as we can, bring people in, educate them, change the behavior of the entire country so that they want to save wildlife and protect their forests.
Tiny challenge.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, continue, of course, rescuing animals like Booba here, giving her a fighting chance, a good life, and same with all of our other animals that we have here. I mean, the enclosures that we've been able to build here are just spectacular. It makes it all worth it, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, so last time when I came out, 8 years ago.
8
years ago.
8
Gosh,
years ago.
It was really in trouble. It was a fetid pool
Yeah.
with crocodiles crawling all over each other. They were eating each other. It was really, really sad. And we blood sampled one and we found it was a Siamese crocodile. So a critically endangered species. Now to fast track that forward, you blood sampled all of them at
Yes.
that point and found out most of them were critically endangered
Yes.
crocodiles. Obviously, it's very hard to release a 3-metre crocodile back into the wild due to the
Yeah.
fact it can eat people.
Yeah.
So that's hard. You've doubled the size of the enclosure.
Yeah, I'd say triple, to be
Triple.
honest. Like, it's way bigger.
Wow.
Like you said, they are Siamese crocodiles, critically endangered species. In Laos, there's there's around 200, I'd say. Here at the center currently, we have about 200.
Wow.
And that's because we're breeding these animals so that we can release the babies into the wild and help boost wild populations of this animals. Yeah, it was not the easiest task to move
No, I
75
can-
crocodiles.
That's quite hard.
Yeah.
I can't believe that they're all in here. And
Right.
it just looks so much better.
Yeah.
It's incredible what
It's
you've done.
so much nicer. Our biggest enclosure at the old site had over 80 crocodiles. We would go into that enclosure and basically catch them and then have to, of course, bound their mouths so that they can't bite anyone. And then we would load them up into a truck. And this was one by one by one. It took, and then you have to, of course, drive them here, unload them, release them, get back in the truck, go back and get another group so that, because we were doing twice a day, because we were trying to get them here quickly, of
Oh
course.
my goodness.
So yeah, it was a lot of work and an extreme team effort, and yeah, my team did an absolute amazing job. I was on the receiving end, so I just had to sit on the crocodile when we got them, and then jump off when we untied it and everything, and hope that it didn't do a quick turnaround.
So
try
you're
to
going to
chomp.
have, are you going to, when you bring the tourists here, they want to visit the centre.
What are you gonna say?
Well, I was going to go zip line, but I think it's
I
got to be,
knew you were gonna
it's
go
gotta be
zip
a
line.
glass walkway.
Oh.
How on earth did you do it? Did you come over and test it out first? No.
I was all in. Yeah, it was a big leap of faith. Very, very big. And it did not come without its struggles. There were probably 2 times where I was like, should I be here? Should I just call it quits? Like, I've done well, but it's enough. The struggle, is it worth it, kind of thing, you know, weighing it back and forth. And I just pushed through it. And I was like, we're going to make this happen because LCTW cannot disappear. We cannot, because we are doing something for the country of Laos, and we are here to stay, at least as long as I'm alive.
Because the cause matters.
Yes, the cause matters. Yeah, huge, huge.
But tears. I mean, the dark nights,
Oh, for sure.
all that stuff.
Absolutely. I mean, there was a time when we were moving the center. So after I got the news in January 23, I mean, immediately I lost it. Because it's basically someone saying, you've been here I was here already for 4 years. You've been here for 4 years. All the work you've done doesn't matter. Now get out. And I mean, that's not exactly what they said, but that's what it feels like. I left my family, I left everything. I came over here and I pushed to make LCTW continue and to grow and into the organization it is today. And then someone just says, nope. Good luck moving 500 animals, raising $1 million, finding a new location to go, and then making it all happen in a year and a half. So I had my mental breakdown, of course, as I think one would. Well-deserved, I think, as well. And then I said, all right, let's do it. that's it, we're doing it. And we push, and we made it happen. And yeah, I mean, I will start to cry now because it's still a lot for me, because it affected not only my work life, but it also affected my personal life. It affected everything going on, and it was a lot. It was a lot to hold, to have all of this on my shoulders.
And if you hadn't done it, it would have all failed.
Yes.
So you're a hero, aren't you? It's good. You did it.
You can say that.
Yeah, but you got to say it as
we
well.
did it.
You got to know
We did it.
I mean, it's like, to me, tell me if I'm wrong here, but it's like you got 2 kids.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one's way worse than my actual child.
It's horrible to think where this little one came from.
Absolutely.
Because obviously being sold on Facebook's one thing, but you know, someone bred it.
Yeah.
And they're going to be selling more on Facebook.
Yes.
And it keeps going, but look, you can see the leopard cat bit there.
Crazy.
You're going to be alright, aren't you? Hey, you're going to be alright.
Yeah. And then also, a lot of the animals we get, because we don't get a lot of information, right? That's always the issue. But it could be that the parents were killed, right? And then they took the babies. So a lot of times, especially with primates, we always try to tell people, we cannot have a baby primate unless its family was killed. It's the only way you're going to get a baby primate. It means its family was killed, and that is how that baby has come to exist. So usually what happens is they will hunt, of course, the family, and then if the baby survives, whether it's a gunshot or whatever, then it's sold as a pet, because now it's a cute baby animal and you can sell that as a pet, where the adults are sold for meat or something like this. So baby animals, of course, they're cute, they're cuddly, they're adorable, but you look at the backstory of them and it's tough. It's really hard to think about what they've already had to go through. And now they have to trust us, these big scary humans, to take care of them and try to get them back into the forest and teach them how to be a leopard cat or how to be a gibbon and things like this. So,
what is the thing that makes you keep going?
it's a good question. I think it's just the mission of LCTW and the work that we're doing. I think because it's not replicated in the country, there's no one doing exactly what we're doing in the country. So if we're done, then conservation takes a huge hit for the country of Laos. And this is a country where there's not a whole ton going on, right? Like, Laos is kind of left behind in a lot of ways. Of course, there's still a lot of good work going on here, but very different from what we do specifically. And I think that keeps me going, knowing that what I'm doing is making an impact for the country and wildlife. It's the dream, right? I know I'm making it different. It's not something I have to convince myself of. I don't have to tell myself, oh yeah, I'm doing good today. I know we're doing something here, and I can see it, and I can see the outcomes, and I can see change in people's behaviors, and I can see the wildlife that we're releasing and these monsters that want to eat blankets. And but yeah, this is what keeps me going. Oh, she's gonna get you.
See you, pal.
Yeah.
So what a trip. Fantastic to meet Jeremy and his team. They're doing amazing work, but all the challenges he's facing. So he's got staffing issues. He's got to raise money to finish the development, open the centre and keep it running. He's got a never-ending supply of animals that need rescuing. And he's working in a global hotspot of the illegal wildlife trade, where he's got to change perception within a whole country. And is he up for that challenge? 100%. I think he's proved that through all the trials and tribulations he's gone through today. And I find that completely inspiring. So is Jeremy an animal champion? Absolutely. Let's get behind him and help him win.